everybody, welcome back to my studio. It's me, it's Emma, wanting to sit here with you for a bit of a chat. It's a rainy old day out there today, proper Cumbrian summer again, quite damp and chilly, but you know what, I'm super grateful for it because I know there's a lot of sort of things going on in the world out there, so to be down here where it's very nice and peaceful is lovely, and I'm just delighted to welcome you all here, especially if it's your very first visit and you've only just found my channel. Hello and welcome. My name is Emma and I live in Cumbria, which is sort of what they call the Lake District here in the UK, sort of northwest of England, and it's a really beautiful place. I'm very blessed to live here. We've lived here for quite a long time now, and I have lived in lots of other places too around the country, but this has been my home for a very long time now, and I just love it. I feel very hefted here, as they say around here. The sheep around here are hefted to they always know where they are on the mountains when they're herdwicks, particularly are the kind of sheep around here, and they are hefted to their spot on the mountain, if you like, and I'm very much hefted here. I used to, in the early days when we moved here, I wasn't quite sure because you just don't know whether it's exactly the right place for you. Sometimes you go through a lot of doubt, sometimes, don't you, in your life, and you're just wondering whether this is really where you're meant to be. And over the years it's just become more and more apparent that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I'm very grateful to be here right now with you. It's just lovely to welcome you back. I hope you enjoyed last week's video. Thank you for all your subscriptions and all your lovely comments. It's just great to connect with you. If you're very new here, just say hello to me. Come and just leave me a little comment and say hi. Tell me where you are in the world, and tell me what you like to do creatively. That would be lovely. If you're busy doing something at the moment that's creative, let me know. Let me know if you're inspired by anything that I do here. I tend to keep it very relaxed and very chilled on my channel because when I first started out on YouTube, it was sort of seemed like this quite daunting thing that you had to do a video every week and blah de blah, and I just thought, well, I'm not putting myself under any pressure because there's no point. As a creative person, or as any point of creativity, I think for me is that it's relaxing and it's enjoyable and it's fun. And so to put myself under any kind of pressure, I just was not going to do that. So I thought, well, I'll just show you what I'm doing down here in my studio at the bottom of the garden, and we'll see what happens, basically. So I don't run it as workshops. It's not meant to be workshops. I have run workshops in the past, as many of you will know. Some of you have probably been on my workshops even. It's not like that. I'm not here to sort of teach you anything. I'm just kind of sharing with you what I'm doing on a daily basis when I'm down in my studio. And if you're inspired by that, or you want to have a go at anything, I think that's wonderful. So let me know if you have any queries. Don't hesitate to ask if you've got any questions. I try and explain what I'm doing as I go along, so that if you're new to this, or you want to know exactly what I'm doing, that's what I try and do. So last week we got started with some fabrics again, which was just lovely after doing a sketchbook. It was a nice refreshing return to doing fabrics again. There's something about it. I keep thinking, well, do I want to be a painter? Do I want to pursue that? And I think, no, my heart is not in it. I love doing it. I'll never be a great painter, but I love fiddling about and messing around with things that, it's just something different for a change, isn't it? And I think a change is as good as a rest, as they say. So today we're going to get on with some embellishing, and I'm going to show you, I'm sitting here with my lovely embellishing machine here, and we're going to get on with that today. And if you haven't seen one before, it's basically a needle felting machine which punches fabrics together. It felts them together so that the fibres get sort of meshed, and it's a really versatile machine. And I'm not advertising them, I'm just saying this is what I use and what I find really helpful for creating lovely surfaces to stitch into then with free machine embroidery. And the most important thing is really just getting started. That's what I always say, isn't it? Okay, so there's my fabrics, and here that I showed you last week is my cotton curtain interlining, which I'm using as a base fabric. You can use just about anything you've got that's cottony, not too stiff. I use this is, as I say, cotton curtain interlining. It's the stuff you use to make your curtains warmer in the winter, and I just find it really nice because it's got a nice sort of wadding effect to it, a bit like quilting, but by the time I've stitched into it, it does get quite flat, but it gives me a little bit of a nice base to work into. So we've got all this little bits of stuff little bits of fabric. So we'll switch the machine on. That's always a good idea, isn't it, eh? Right, where we're going to start with this, I wonder. So when I start, I'm always thinking about edges before I start. So I'm thinking I'll make sure that this fabric goes over the edge of the curtain interlining, and that means if I want to afterwards fold it over, I can. So all the fabrics are different. They all behave differently under the embellisher, so it's a good idea sometimes just to try them out and see what they do, because they scrunch. And that's one of the lovely effects of the embellisher. So you get scrunched fabrics. And if you want them just to be plain and flat, that's absolutely fine. Let's just make sure you get the needles up. But I like it. I like this. And then I can stitch into it. Oops. Having said I was going to look after my edges, that's me forgetting to look after my edges. Let's make sure that goes about like that. So I'm just overlapping each piece as I go along. So the beautiful thing about putting down your pieces of fabric with your embellishing machine is, well, there are many good things. Apart from the lovely texture you get, it obviously holds the fabric in place so you can then stitch into it. But if you don't like what you've put down, you can actually take that off like that and just either take it off completely or put it somewhere else. Sometimes I even turn them over and I make use of that lovely sort of textured surface that it's given it, so you could put that down and get a bit more texture, and you can just move it around. And obviously what you can do is you don't have to embellish the whole thing down. This is not what I'm going to do with this piece, but you can just, for example, kind of scrunch it up, and you can leave bits standing up like that, so you could add other bits on and you could make lovely sort of if we put that underneath there, let's put that there. See what happens when I put this on. And you can be pulling bits up, adding bits on, so you could have little bits overlapping each other. So you could be leaving little bits like that, you see, overlapping. So if you're doing something like a seascape, you might want to leave little waves of fabric like that. So it's very versatile, and as I say, you can just take off what you don't want, put it somewhere else. So I'm just going to keep picking my pieces of fabric out of the box and putting them on where they seem to want to go, which sounds a bit mad, I know. You probably think I'm as mad as a box of frogs, but this new way of working for me seems to work. And it means I'm very relaxed because I'm not thinking about what it's going to be, what it has to be, what it has to become. I'm just going, ooh, well, what if I put this piece of fabric here? Or what if I put this piece of fabric there? And it's a bit like doing a jigsaw. I just keep popping them in. I'm just creating a surface. So I've changed colour now, and I've gone on to this lovely green linen, which is really very pretty. It does the surface gets kind of destroyed quite quickly if you're not careful, so you mustn't over embellish. You have to really think about your fabrics and how you want them to look with this game, because if you over embellish them, the surface gets destroyed, a bit, which can be quite nice. That might be an effect that you actually want. And I love how I'm just fiddling around with these pieces, and it's just like a jigsaw. I'm just going, well, would this piece go in here? Would this piece go in there? Shall I pop that one there? How does that feel? What is that doing? It's got quite a sharp edge there, so I'm just wondering whether actually we want another piece of this here. As I say, I just love picking the pieces out and fiddling around with them and seeing what fits. Oh, that's got a nice, this has got a nice wonky edge to it. Let's see if it'll go to go. Yeah, I think we like that there. Let's pop that one in there. Oops. You can hear that. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's because it's got 2 layers of linen there. So it's sounding a little bit more laboured with your machine. So I always listen out to my machine because I'm very keen not to break needles. Obviously I'm not paranoid about it, but I just try and be careful with my machine. I treat it with a lot of respect. And if it starts making noises, I either stop, or I might use a different fabric, or I'll certainly do it slower if I think it's struggling to put down the fabric that I'm asking it to do. I don't just hammer away at it, because I love my machine. She's my favourite person. My favourite person apart from my sewing machine. My favourite, you know, friend down here. Well, that's got a lovely edge on it as well, hasn't it? That's got a nice little curvy bit. Oh, and you know what? It just kind of goes there. How weird is that? Honestly, I mean, that's literally matched up with that. Let me just show you a bit close up. So this is this piece, look. I put that on there like that, and it's just completely random. But when I put it on there like that, it's almost like that curve could have been made for it. It's quite incredible. And I haven't deliberately cut that. That's just randomly picked out of the box. I've got another piece here to pop on. How about that piece there? You see, that then makes that little curve. Isn't that funny? That's just, again, picked out at random, but if I just put it there, it kind of picks up the curve of that. So, I've got these pieces laid down here, but I've got a little wee gap there. So I'll just pop a little bit of this on, cover it up a bit. No big deal. Kind of the ultimate in patchwork, this, or in what's that patchwork called where you just do it all really random? I can't think what you call it. I'm sure somebody out there will know what you call it when you just do crazy patchwork or something. This is just really like a crazy patchwork that I'm doing here, really. That bit go there, that bit go there. Oops. So what I love about this is there's no right or wrong. It's a lovely, slow process, just doing it one piece at a time. All my cares just fade away because I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. I look out the window a little bit because there's lots of flowers outside my window at the moment. I've got all these lovely wild flowers growing outside, and it's a rainy day, so it's nice and calm. And I'm just sitting here fiddling about with my bits of fabric going, well, what if I put that bit there? There's nothing riding on it, no big deal. Not rocket science. So I haven't got quite enough of this, so I'm just going to simply chop up a little bit more And again, just very random, not thinking about what shapes they're being. I'm just cutting them up and we'll see what I need to do with them. Quite reckless really. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting down some of the creamy colour, which is really easy to do. You can hear how fast the machine can go on this because it's very light. And what I've done is I have pulled up a little bit of the dark there to put over the light colour so that it doesn't go, if it goes the other way around, I think we'll just get a nasty shadow underneath of the dark. That's the lovely thing about doing your embellishing, is you can just fiddle about with it to your heart's content till you get it how you want it. And there's no wrong, there's no right, as I say. It's just, you know, you can always take it off. If you don't like it, you can always take it off. How many other things in life could be so easy to fix, eh? So I'm going to keep going with this and I will show you it when we're a bit further down the track. So we're making progress, it's coming together quite nicely. No idea where it's going. I'm just loving these textured surfaces. Of course they may not stay like that, who knows, but for the meantime I'm just really appreciating this lovely texture we've got going on here. And so I'm going to say cheerio for now. Be back in my studio next week and we'll see where this is going to take us, where the adventure is going to lead us. So thank you again for joining me here. I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.